The animistic counterpart in man has an analogy in the breathing process. Therefore, the stimulants used will be perfumes. Breathing exercises as used by occultists have three aims. A. The regular process of changing the blood, which thereby renovates its vital force. Otherwise, regulation of the amount of oxygen in the blood. B. Regulation of the rhythm of breathing by human willpower, which leads to authority over the heart's pulsation. C. The prevention of too large losses of carbonic acid. A. It is produced by a smoothly flowing inhalation. C. By the partial retention of the breath and also partially by slow exhalation. And B. By the direction of all phases of the breathing process. Now I will give some examples of the first stage of breathing exercises, as used in Western occult schools. Sometimes these differ from the Eastern schools. The stomach must not be filled with food. At least 2 hours should elapse after a meal. The position is almost horizontal, head and shoulders a little higher than the rest of the body, legs and arms outstretched with the arms laying along the sides. All muscles must be relaxed. There should be pure air in the room and a temperature of about 65 degrees. All restless thoughts must be removed from the consciousness. You should have full faith in the success of your exercises, as well as a certainty that no one will disturb you at that time. It would be dangerous. There is a special occult law which tells us about this, for both the person interrupting as well as for the one doing the exercises. 1. Close your mouth and slowly inhale air through your nostrils until the chest is full. Any painful feeling will indicate that too much air has been absorbed. This is the phase of the inhale. Then hold the air and slowly exhale it through the nostrils. With empty lungs, make a short pause between the end of the exhale and the beginning of the new inhale. This is necessary for domination of your breathing process. 2. It is advisable, from my own personal point of view, it is indispensable, that all three phases are of an equal length of time. If you sacrifice more time and effort to achieve this aim, you will be richly rewarded in your future practices. The phase of inhaling symbolizes the ability to exploit the surrounding sphere. In Hermetic language, the expression to vampirize is used, while the phase of retaining the breath corresponds to the ability to assimilate the elements imbibed during the inhale. The phase of exhaling the breath is the ability to dispose of and use collected energy and faculties. The interval between is the ability for passive concentration, and for magic practices, this should never be too long. 3. Therefore, the inhale is used for meditation about active concentration, in order to assimilate certain powers and abilities. The interval for the personal and actual assimilation of these powers and abilities. The exhale for the idea of their reasonable use, and the pause for passive concentration without any thoughts. The length of the phases theoretically depends upon the properties of the astrosome of the person doing the exercises, but we are able to recommend some approximate timing for an average man. In the beginning, take about 10 seconds for each phase, plus about 4 seconds for the pause. Some try to extend the pause to the length of the 3 phases, but this may be dangerous because in that passive time the beginner is exposed to certain outer influences, which usually are not friendly. See lessons 18 and 19. After some months of exercising, extend the times to 25 seconds for the active phase and about 5 for the pause. The exercise has to be performed 2 to 3 times daily, for 5 minutes to start with, and up to 25 minutes later. This is the Western method, and many consider it to be dangerous because it is not connected with active evolutionary meditation, and which might allegedly lead to the imbibing of negative, evil, influences from the astral surroundings. These are elementals and larvas, which can strengthen evil tendencies in men, which are based on egoistic conceptions. However, we must be aware that all occult training, except that given under the personal and direct supervision of a true master, contain some dangerous moments, and the calculated risk must be taken by those who really try to achieve some worthwhile results. The Eastern method is considered to be much less dangerous, and in its hermetic version the exercises are as follows. The air must first be inhaled through the left nostril, while the right one is closed by pressing the thumb against it. During the period when the breath is held, both nostrils should be closed, preferably with both thumbs. Then exhale through the right nostril, while the left remains closed. After the usual pause, again inhale through the left nostril, hold the air with both closed, and exhale through the right, and so on. This method is a very good one, and personally, for beginners I even prefer it to the classical Western method, given previously. But, when the student becomes more trained and experienced, he may return to the Western practices, as they are more effective in the case of attempted exteriorization or any other occult phenomena. They produce a certain degree of insensibility in the body when used for a long time. Furthermore, the astrosome may begin to separate and the consciousness leave the physical shell. Of course, such experiments should not be performed before the student gains complete mastery of the theory of exteriorization and knows everything prescribed in the matter. We will return to this again in one of the more advanced lessons.